not a teacher. Black people now want to be taught. They don't want to be just spoken to. They want to learn something now. They want to clear the smoke.
So what is his purpose?
You have to ask him that. You can't ask me what his Minister of Farrakhan's purpose. You have to go to him and ask him that.
There was no sound. There was no sound the whole time. What? What? There was no sound the entire time? I thought there was sound the whole time. Something told me to check the sound. I ain't check the sound. So guess what happens now? Y'all got to rewatch it with the sound. Yes, it's supposed to be audio. And see, I'm not even checking the oh, okay. And listen, it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna run it back. This time, y'all go ahead and start sharing it. How about that? I was like, something ain't right. Like, where's the sound at? And there was no sound the whole time. So let's run this back. Just for the record, there's sound on my end. So I heard the whole thing. It's actually a great little situation. You know what I'm saying? So let's see if we can reshare it this time with the sound. We're gonna start from the top. Y'all lucky I don't start the whole show over. And I'm joking with you. It says also share audio. Okay, go to Windows. Oh, you know what, y'all? I know why I didn't share the sound. Give me 1 second. Let me there it is. Okay. There we go. Okay. All right.
Go to motionray.com.
All right. Charge to my head, not to my heart, y'all. Let me know if you can hear the sound when it comes back in this time, okay? Here we go.
Queen Charlotte set to make her Netflix.
We got it. Can you guys hear the sound now? It's okay now? Look, she in the back. I'm going to show you who I got in the back in a second, but hold on. You can hear it now? All right, we're going to take it from the top, y'all. 1,000 apologies. Here we go. Let's start it over.
Queen Charlotte set to make her Netflix debut in May, and we're getting a new look at the Bridgerton verse prequel series. But as we celebrate Black History Month, many don't know the history behind the queen our city is named after. I spoke with some local historians about Queen Charlotte, and it's a history lesson for all of us.
Flawless, my dear. The hit Netflix series Bridgerton, bringing renewed attention to the mixed-race British queen our city is named after.
Queen Charlotte, of course, is the namesake of our city.
Tom Hanchett, community historian in Charlotte, explains that Queen Charlotte was a German-born princess from Mecklenburg-Strelitz, Germany, to be exact. But her ancestral roots can be traced back to King Alfonso III of Portugal.
Before her German ancestry, she had roots into a Portuguese royal family, the family of King Alfonso III.
Up until the 1100s, there was an Arab and African occupation of Portugal. This is where King Alfonso found his wife, who was a Moor. In those times, the word was used to describe people of Arab or African descent. I spoke with Dr. Tekla Johnson about it.
He sort of marched with his troops into a Moorish-held town called Faro, and he demands the governor's youngest daughter. It wasn't a marriage, it was more like a concubinage, but it was a very high order.
Their son, Martin Alfonso, then marries into a family with African ancestry, further cementing Queen Charlotte's Black heritage.
Remember, in the 1300s, we hadn't yet, gone into the slave trade. There wasn't the same stigma that came later on.
Shonda Rhimes puts a Black actress as Queen Charlotte, and now it has everybody talking about history. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. It causes conversations like this one.
Queen Charlotte would go on to marry King George III, the British monarch who lost the Revolution and the colonies.
So he marries a teenager. She's 17 years old.
This 18th century portrait of Queen Charlotte by Sir Allan Ramsay was used as propaganda in the colonies to win over enslaved Blacks to Britain during the Revolutionary War. It now hangs in the Mint Museum.
Any schoolchild who comes to the museum remembers seeing that portrait of Queen Charlotte.
In 2007, artist Ken Apgar was commissioned by the Mint to explore Sir Ramsay's portrait of Queen Charlotte. That sparked a dialogue which led to 6 images and a variety of interpretations of the Queen.
Can you talk about what people saw when they saw her portrait?
There are phrases like black, white, other on one of them. There's another one that just says immigrant.
So as you drive around the Queen City and see Queen Charlotte's statue or her portrait, now you'll know a little more about the fascinating history behind the woman our city is named after.
And the 6-episode limited series on Queen Charlotte is set to be released on May 4th on Netflix. So I can't wait to watch it.
All right, that's what I was trying to show y'all right there. Right, that was the intro, and also, joining me on this evening. 1 second, I had to bring it back by popular demand. Y'all know her, y'all like her, y'all love her from last time. She's back on here, Uncharted Truth, in the building. Peace and love.
Hello. Is my audio good?
Yeah.
Okay.
He just fine. Perfect.
Great. Thanks for having me back, though.
Thanks for being back. And you're actually about to kick off your joint tomorrow. So be sure to go. What's your YouTube for your channel?
So I don't have a YouTube for Uncharted Truth. Unfortunately, I just support Minister of Information. Yeah, listen, I've been kicked off twice, and I said no more. So
then, how do we watch the episodes with you and your dad?
So that's this and that. We have a podcast. Me and my father. We just kicked it back off after 2 years of having a break. But this, then that, all together. But we have a podcast, and we get together after mending our relationship, and we're actually learning about each other through conversation, and we share stories, experiences, insights, and it's a very unfiltered tone. So very entertaining. He's the entertainer. I'm just there to just, figure him out and learn him. But that's the background of my podcast with my dad. This, then that.
Right. I mean, but we still. Where do we find it? If we want to watch it, it's like
it's on YouTube. YouTube. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram. Okay. Those are the only platforms I'm on.
And you know what's crazy though? Like all the platforms get like super like weird and strict, and it's like almost forcing you to go get like a Patreon account or some account. I actually tried to sign up for Patreon, and it shit didn't. It was too much. It was too weird. Yeah. So, but TikTok jumping like Jordan though.
I heard.
You're gonna get over there soon.
I heard.
I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah.
Soon and very soon.
But I want to say hello to the chat before we get kicked off. I got to say hello because I really appreciate your chat. They're like always there and supporting and engaging. Always. So it's awesome.
Always.
Hello, everyone.
Jump to the chat real quick. So listen, we got in the building. George Witcher III. Appreciate it. Huntsville. So how far is Huntsville from 4
hours north of me?
Dothan.
Dothan. Yeah, 4 hours north of me.
I've actually been to Dothan now, so I'm a honorary.
You should go to Huntsville. Huntsville's pretty cool.
I don't hear much about Huntsville though.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I don't hear much about Huntsville. I hear more about
Montgomery.
Of course, Montgomery and Selma.
Okay, gotcha.
Huntsville. Shout out to Huntsville though. Who else we got here? Hope Owens L. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, brothers and sisters. Peace and love to you. Appreciate it. She that's the first one said no sound. I didn't realize that. Your sister's always in the building. Hold it down. We appreciate you. Greetings, everyone. Brook Dog 91 said, "Listen, y'all, it was my fault, man. I'm over here like Ray Charles.
That's so funny.
I didn't even know what was going on. I said, what? Why in the chat responding to the video? Like, what the fuck? And y'all couldn't hear it, so that's my fault.
Everyone's letting you know about
everybody saying, everybody's like, we can't hear it. We would love to hear it. DJ Clip, shouts out to you. Peace and love, brother. Who else we got over here, man? I think that's everybody. They're just over. Hold on. There's some new people in here. Miss Wright Bella, the Moors, absolutely appreciate it. So let's talk about a little bit about what we just saw, because it's like when we say it, it's one way, but when your cousins say it, it's a whole flip. When they finally admit to the whole situation. So they mentioned a couple of things. They mentioned the Moors. They mentioned the fact that Queen Charlotte was a descendant from Germany. So her blood, there's some black royalty in Germany that I won't get into, but I'll share some information about it. Then King Alfonso of Portugal was also with her. King Alfonso of Portugal. There's a King Alfonso of Congo as well. In fact, I mean, you guys heard them mention King Alfonso, right? Watch this.
Yes.
And all is just for me is just to solidify the fact that there is that our bloodline is prevalent throughout the world. And you asked a question earlier too. I also want to redress. This is kill. This is King Alfonso the First of Congo. What we have to understand, they said King Alfonso of Portugal. Portugal was doing a lot of trading with Congo and Ndongo also. And I was telling the people that last night. I did a dope podcast last night, and I just kind of was telling them that the Africans who were trading the bodies out of Africa, and this is one of them. This is King Alfonso. They mentioned King Alfonso in the videos, so I'm bringing him up right now. He converted to Christianity. This is during the reign of Christianity, when it was kind of taking over everywhere. Christendom. King, see, in the era increasing relations with the Kingdom of Portugal, Alfonso became the fervent convert to Catholicism and sought to embrace Portuguese institution in his land. Just wanted to show y'all that when they say King Alfonso. And we got to dodge the hijack. They're going to show us a lot of YT looking people. And what I'm finding out, why I'm taking this shit so serious, is that it looks like the mulatto light skinned crowd wasn't really fucking with the dark skinned crowd. That's what it's starting to look like to me as I examine the light-skinned Europeans of Europe. And even when we say Europeans, where does our mind go when I say European or Europe? Man, Europeans?
Yeah. That's a good question. That actually kind of the question I asked earlier.
Yep.
How do we... Or it's like how and when, at what point did we disassociate? And this is going to go into maybe law, and I really want to go there tonight. But
talk about law.
Yeah. When and how did we disassociate Black from European or swarthy or dark complected people from Europe? Why do we, when we hear Europe, and this goes to apply if we did before, when people do their ancestry background,
they have that European lineage.
They say
they're thinking they're white
European.
people.
They think of, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So their mind isn't associated with us being European. So I want to know, how do you disassociate yourself? I want to hear the chat. Have you ever said, when you think of Europe, you don't think of dark complected people, which is fair if you don't, or if you never have. But I want to know, like, what point was it based on what we learn in school? Is it based on, just your own environment? You don't see, for example, I'm from a small town, 2,000 people, and I rarely see me, people that look like me. So my mind at a young age, I don't know what's out there. So on a larger scale, of course, we're adults now. We should know better, or know that we're everywhere. We know we cover the entire.
A lot of adults don't, though.
That's fair. That's my point. We when and how. That's my question. When and how, if we did.
Yeah. Well, I think what is like maybe 6 years, 5, 6 years ago, when everybody really found out. Let me put this in real quick. I'll go back to this in a second. When everybody started talking about the etymology of Black, I think it happened a couple of years ago. You know how everybody kind of found out the same information at the same time, in the conscious community. But I think everybody started tapping into the fact that the word Black really mean white. It mean pale. So I'm gonna venture to say that I would think that when we start using the terminology Black, and we have to see when it came into existence, and we have to see what who the word Black is associated with, or which people. So we got proto-dramatic. Proto means before, prior. That's pre-history. So proto-dramatic, we just learned that Queen Charlotte is actually from Germany, and I can show you some Black Moors with crests and everything who are from Germany. Okay, it says Proto-Indo-European, blah, burn, gleam, shine, base, bleed. Now that word bleed also goes to the word bleach later. We see Old Saxons, High Germany, Norse, Dutch. These are all Black people. What we're coming for is Black people, dark-skinned people. So even the origin of the word itself. So the point I'm making is going back to the word black. So it says dark. These are all synonymous words that associate with the word black. Dark was probably the early association with the word swarthy, and then brunette and tawny. Those are just ways they describe people, because black wasn't really around. Like the term black wasn't really used to describe people in a certain time period. Now, Queen Charlotte and the Tudor Stuart Dynasty, 1300s, going back 1300s to like the 1600s or 1700s, dealing with the Stuart Dynasty. The term wouldn't really apply to them back then. Like if you'd have called them black back then, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Like the word wasn't in usage. It's like, what? Are you black? Like what? No, what the fuck? Like I don't think they would have recognized the way we use it. They wouldn't have recognized it to be that way. So
now, I while you were speaking, I went and thought, because I was going to go into the United States Census and what it says about population and race and where those terms come from. I did a segment on this before and I got kicked off. But when you do a census, every 10 years you do a census. On the census, if you go to census.gov and you go to population and you go to race, it will tell you.
I remember that.
It gives you the breakdown. Now, let's look at European census.
Okay, hold on. Census.gov.
Yeah, but we'll go there first. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I need you to go back up to data and maps, or topics. I'm sorry, topics. Go over, down, and you'll see population. Keep going down. There you go. And then over there to the list over there, you'll see race, or wait. About this topic, about, yeah. I think. Scroll down. Why don't I just zoom in so I can see? And then you should see something about race.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Hold on, my bad. I'm zooming.
I'm sorry.
No, it's my bad.
I might have missed a tab. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Subtopics. Okay, go back. Just one click. One back. Yeah.
Like another page back, or
go back. Yeah, go back a page.
Okay.
Then scroll down. Subtopics or something should say race. Did it change this since I've done this? Let's see. There it is. There you go. Race. Yeah, race. Okay. Now, about this topic, that's what you want to read.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Click this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's scroll down and see what it says.
Oh shit, I'm nervous.
I'll let you read it then. Go ahead.
Read these? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So white, which we should be up on game by now. White means North African, but a person having origins of any original people of Europe. There's a comma, so you have to stop and reflect on what you just read. A person having origins
that word
in any of them. That's the Saxons, the Tudors, any of them.
Yeah.
Of original people of Europe. Even
it
if
says nothing about complexion at all.
Right. Even if you didn't want to believe that this was a situation, then you're led to believe that people came out of Africa, went into Europe, and they got captured by the ice and they turned white. Well, before they turned white, that means people of color was in Europe before that happened. Even if you want to take it there. But this says a person having origins of the original people. They say origins twice. That's crazy because origins means original. The Middle East or North Africa. That means the Berbers, the Moors. Those are North African people. Now let's go with it says black or Africans in America. I'm joking. It says black or. Why does it say? Aren't they the same thing? Are they saying the same thing? Like commonly referred to as? Otherwise, it could just say African Americans and left it at that. But black or African Americans, a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Would it include up here too? Or no? Because it said any black racial groups.
What is a black racial group? What does that even mean? It's like saying a woman is a woman because she feels like it is. What is black? If I am originally from Europe, families are originally from Europe, I can on anything I want put white. And if anyone tries to correct that, it's actually unlawful to do so.
Yeah, I did my kids in school like that.
Suable.
Each year my kids go to school since
that's why you see people changing for certain privileges now, which is interesting. When they go to college, they'll put a different race of what they may or may not be, but only that person can claim it. And that tells you down at the bottom. But anyway, so a black racial group of Africa. So what's the difference in Africa and North Africa? What are they trying to say there?
Wow.
Because it doesn't say in white, it doesn't say racial group. So what is race? What is it? What are they trying to say here?
Well, let's keep reading this. Then I want to go back to what you said about race, because race was created.
The next one is very interesting.
Race was created. We'll go back to that in a second. Now, American Indian or Alaskan Native, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintains tribal affiliation or community attachment. Those are called American Indians. I don't see Native Americans in there, though. A person having origins in any of the Americas, basically. So they're basically saying there were people who were originally in Europe and people who have origins in Africa, people who have origins in the Americas. I don't see where so-called Caucasians come in yet. I don't see where they come in. Like historically, when it says original people of Europe, that's not them. Then it says the origins of black racial groups, that's not them. It says the origins in America, that's not them. It says the origins of East South Asia, that's still not them. Native Hawaiians, that's still not them. For all intents and purposes, this is not dealing with Caucasians. Am I wrong?
I want you to keep reading.
Okay. Native Hawaiian specific. Okay, I'm gonna go right here. 1997 OMB standards permit the reporting of more than one race. An individual's response to the race question is based upon self-identification. It's not a law, it's not a statute, not an ordinance. It's based upon how you choose to identify yourself.
That's literally what it says next. Self-identification.
An individual responds to the race questions based upon self-identification. The Census Bureau does not tell individuals which box to mark or what heritage to write in. For the first time in the Census 2000, individuals were presented with options to self-identify with more than one race, and this continued to the 2010 census. People who identify with more than one racial group may choose to provide multiple races in response to a race question. For example, if a respondent identifies as Asian and white, they may respond to the question on race by checking the appropriate boxes that describes their racial identification and or write in the identities on the space provided. What is race, though? The data on race were derived from the answers to questions on race that was asked of an individual in the United States. The Census Bureau collected racial data in accordance with the guidelines provided by the U.S. Office of Management and Budget. And these data are based on self-identification. Wow. That's deep.
People who may choose to report more than one race to indicate the racial mixture, such as American Indian and white, people who identify their origins as Hispanic, and anyone could be Hispanic apparently, Latino or Spanish may be of any race. So the OMB requires 5 minimum categories, and there they are. And the reason why I bring this up is since we're talking about Europe, I want to also share, if you want to pull it, you can, but I already have it. I want to share how Europe does their census and see the difference, because I think this might answer your question. Someone
You got it
asked,
put up already?
Yeah, I already have it pulled up. Someone asked, I'm on an iPad, so it's not connected. Sorry. Okay. Someone asked the difference between ethnicity and race. I don't know if that's been answered yet after reading this, but maybe if you need clarification, I guess we can go into that. But you heard? Scroll back up so you can see.
Yes. Let me chime in this real quick. There's a huge difference on ethnicity and race. Huge difference. Race and ethnicity research. It talks a little bit about here, but it's not going to really tell you, I don't think, about ethnicity.
No, you see this one sentence.
Right. Now you're let's just do it. Fuck it, let's just do it. Let me show y'all something. Let me pull up another screen real quick. Now, when it comes to ethnicity, that's different. When it comes to nationality, that's also different as well. I
didn't mean to get off topic with this. I'm so sorry.
No. This is on topic because this needs to be understood, because this keeps posing a problem when it comes to, I think, the thought process. Ethnicity is a term that describes a group of people who share a common culture, which includes language, religion, beliefs, values, behaviors, ancestry, food, music, dress, and hairstyle. Ethnicities are often passed down from one generation to the next. People may identify with an ethnic group or be identified by one another. Ethnicity is different from nationality, which is in the legal sense of belonging to a specific political nation state. Perceptions of ethnicity can impact how people construct their identities. Perceptions of ethnicity can impact how people construct their identities. The National Institute of Health requires that race and ethnicity be included as variables in medical research to assure the health of all Americans.
Now, that's very interesting, because that helps me share that the European census is based on ethnicity. Specifically, they say the groups are Indian, Pakistani, Chinese, Caribbean. They are very specific. Irish, Roma, Arab. They are very specific of ethnicity. So there's a huge difference in them knowing, because I'm sure that people know who they come from, what ethnic group is their background. So if we were to use that system, how would you mark yourself? And the options are Caribbean, African, other, like other Black. That's what they have. They have Black British, Caribbean background, and it says background. And then it has white and Black Caribbean, white and Black African, white. Yeah, it's very specific. That's how their census is in comparison to the U.S. Census. Just thought I'd share that. So that might help us
great,
understand how we... Go ahead.
It sounds like they're dealing with nationalities.
Yeah.
They're not dealing with
what nation
crayons.
you come from. Who are your people? Nations have people.
Right.
Crayons don't have people.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this says race and ethnicity are different ways of categorizing people, and they are not the same thing. Ethnicity and race is not the same thing. Race is a social construct based on physical characteristics that are considered socially significant. Race is often inherited as identity. For example, someone might identify as Black or Asian. Nobody's Black and nobody's Asian. They're not Chinese. They don't speak Chinese. They speak Manchurian and they're Mandarin. That's just the facts.
Yeah.
They're not Puerto Ricans. They're Taino or Boicuano. If that makes sense to you, then it should make sense to you that you're not Black, Negro, and colored. Those are all titles given to you by slaveholders in 1779. That's exactly what Noble Drew Ali was saying at that time frame. Let's continue. ethnicity share culture basis and common ancestry and history. So the fact right here that ethnicity shares common ancestry and race has no ancestry at all. So you can't be black talking about you honor the ancestors and you're black. You have no ancestry if you're black because that's your race. Your ethnic group can share ancestry. This is why calling yourself black, which is based on race, you are uninheritable. You cut yourself off as a descendant, as an inheritable descendant to the vast estate of your ancestors. You don't have any ancestors at this point. That's how they cut off the royal bloodline, and also by changing your name or modifying your name, because only Christians have last name. So they would Christianize a lot of the so-called Negroes and Native Americans. They would Christianize them, giving them black names, which now makes you indescendable from your original ancestry bloodline because you honor not your forefathers and foremothers. And your forefathers and foremothers are your ancestors. So your ethnic group, you guys share a common ancestry, whatever that may be. It says race and ethnicity are often confused and the lines between them can be blurred. For example, the category Black or African American includes people from many different nationalities and ethnicities. Some say that combining race and ethnicity into one category on the census would make it harder to understand racial inequalities. Inequalities.
Can I share a random fact?
Please.
In China, 1.2 billion people have the same surname.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
1.2 billion Johnsons or
Probably Win is a very common name. I don't know if that's Chinese though, but like yeah. I hope I'm not
Ming
way off with that. Yeah.
And please forgive me if this is a safe space. We do not condone hate or slander. By the way, I don't want to get flagged. Defining race and ethnicity, race refers to dividing people into groups based on their physical appearance. Big nose, big lips, nappy hair, high cheekbones, straight hair, black skin, light skin, black skin, red bone, light skin, black skin. What else? Yellow, black skin, light skin, black skin. White, light skin, white skin. Brown skin, yellow, green, yellow. Like that's race. And the idea of race comes from one person. We talked about this before. This gentleman right here, he created the idea of race. Blumenbach's theory of human race and the natural unity. So he created the idea of race. The categories of race. He based it on what's called phenotype. See, the human's phenotype. This is called pseudoscience. I mean, it's not real. Blumenbach argued there are 5 distinct races of mankind. This was his idea about races. This is what he created. The word Caucasian was not even used until he created it, the term. This is in the latter part of the 1700s. His teachings.
I'm sorry. Can you highlight that last comment someone left?
Oh, I'm not even coming. Let me see.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. I know you're on it. So.
Right here.
Yeah.
What's your nation? What's your religion? Confusion. Tower of Babel. What?
Remember, he changed the language because they were so productive and working together. So he's like, they're all on one accord. So that's what he's bringing up. Sorry, that's something fly.
Oh, the confusion of that's exactly what it is. He confounded their tongues though, so they spoke a different language.
Yeah.
The language was definitely scrambled.
Sorry, that was just interesting to me. So
no, you're fine.
And I'm from Dothan. Someone asked where I was from. I'm from Dothan, Alabama.
Yeah, I saw that earlier too. Ask where you're from.
No need to apologize.
It's like, what part of Alabama is she from? She's from Greenbow. No? Okay, we're gonna do all right. Okay, all right. Johann Blumenbacher was a German physician, naturalist. What's that? Physiologist, anthropologist. He is considered to be the main founder of zoology. Now, with zoology, you're going to find another man by the name of Carl Linnaeus. Carl Linnaeus creates taxonomy, which is the categorization that helps out the zoos. You know, arthropods and reptiles and amphibians and all that shit. It's called taxonomy. That's created by another man later. They all run together there later. Anthropology, right? He has been called what? The founder of what? Racial classifications. Isn't that freaking convenient? Because early on in the early colonies, there was no black or white. That's why they had to do this right here. You're free whites who were now see, this is crazy. It just hit me. The Naturalization Act of 1790. Remember, it's your nationality. So they had to get naturalized. They're not they can't be nationized to America. They have to be naturalized. There's a difference because they already have a nation. Remember, they migrated over here for somewhere else and they settled here. They were settlers. Remember the settlers? They're coming from somewhere else. The Naturalization Act of 1790 was the first law to establish uniform rules for granting citizenship to foreign-born white people. The eligibility, the act limited citizenship to who? Free whites. Now, this becomes interesting later with the Dred Scott case, because they told Dred Scott that he wasn't able to be a citizen because he was of African descent. Because he was from Africa. Like Africans from Africa are non-descendable to become citizens in America because they're foreigners. And these Caucasians were foreigners until they created the Naturalization Act of 1790. Now, they're going to amend this a couple times later to be inclusive to other foreigners who come to America, right? They have to live in America for at least 2 years back then, these free white people. They had to reside in the same location for 1 year, demonstrate good character, sworn allegiance to the Constitution, because they were from England or some other place. They weren't from here. Children 21 of naturalization were also considered citizens. Children are born abroad. The process to become a citizen, applications had to had to apply to a common law court in the state where they have lived for at least a year. The court would then administer an oath of affirmation application. These are YT people who were not citizens. If you're not a citizen, you can't vote. It's 1790. Shortly after 1790, you get 1800s and 1830s and 1840s and 1860s, 1870s. And these white people still couldn't vote up until the 1870s. That's why you have places like South Carolina was an entire black administration. If you have black senators and congressmen and black presidents in the early 1700s, because white people couldn't vote. Not all of them. You had to own land. You had to be a landowner to vote. If you was a free white person, you had to be. The 1790 was the product of the first Continental Congress. It was considered racist because it only granted citizenship to white people and did not apply to African Americans, Native Americans, or Asian immigrants. Now, the Native Americans were already nationalized. Like, this is their nation. And they had to break up those nations. The 100-year Indian War, break up those nations. And when they would import Moors from Spain and Africans from Africa to the Americas, they would strip them of their nationality. And it made them non-descendable. They were not able to, they had no ancestry. They had no common ethnic bond because they shipped them all the way up. They brought Indians from New York down to the Caribbean islands, to the Caribbean island, and people over to Europe and brought them back over. It was just all over the place. It was everywhere. So thank you for that getting into that part of it. No, but like I said, one of the things you had to do first, you had to be a landowner. So
yeah,
one of the things they did immediately for Europeans were they gave them land. It's called head rights. It was a legal grant to give land. Now they can vote. If you had this land, then you can vote. And your beneficiaries could also vote as well. This is exactly what it was. Great point. So between 1783 and 1909, Georgia distributed land east of the Oconee River through two types of grants, head rights and bounty. Now, bounty also commonly known as counties. That's why in the state of Georgia and most of the southern states, the demarcation lines are done by counties. Counties means conquered land. With both types of grants, the guarantees selected the land they wanted, pretty much. Head rights and bounty. All right. Now let's go back to that where we was at. Great fucking segue though. And that needs to be known. So tonight we're gonna talk about a couple of different mulattoes. I think we should talk about what a mulatto is, though. I really think that it'll help people understand. So let's get your pen and paper out. You already know, get your pen and paper. Let's take some notes real quick. We're gonna define a couple things real quick. Let's define a couple things real quick. Let's start with mulatto. Let me share my screen real quick. Write these words down. Because if we don't understand these words, when I start showing you these black queens, I mean black because the word black is a European word. It means white. When I show you these black queens or these mulatto queens of Europe, it's going to throw you off a little bit if you don't understand. Mulatto, a mix white and black ancestry, both. But they're dealing with what right here? Race, not ethnicity.
Right.
Race. We just learned the difference between the two. Especially a person with one white and one black parent. What is a mulatto history? Mulatto, a person of mixed and white black ancestry. They just threw the word ancestry, and that word belongs to ethnicity, not race. White and black belongs to the word race. Ancestry belongs to the word ethnicity. You got to watch the hijack. I'm glad we just highlighted the other part before we read this definition. The term mulatto is a legacy attempts to establish taxonomies. I just told you this is Carl Linnaeus. He's the father of taxonomy, and the end of race. The father of race is Johann Blumenbacher. So you have two German anthropologists giving you terms of which you now understand what they mean. Taxonomy means the specific categories of a species. So let's try this. Carl Linnaeus, father of taxonomy. Johann Blumenbacher, the father of race. Taxonomy then goes into what's called evolution. You get Charles Darwin, right? Then you have eugenics from Charles Darwin's great nephew, Francis Galton. All of these people were pseudoscientists, anthropologists, so on and so forth. And later in the field of anthropology, you get people like Dr. Leakey, Melvin Herkovich, and Franz Boas. If you don't know none of those names, then I don't know what to tell. Like, go research those names. It's going to help you grasp the concept that they social engineered the concept of black people. Black people are created creatures. There's no such thing as black people. And if you identify, which we just saw the thing, what was it? The race. I mean, the categories of race, according to the census, it's voluntary. Nobody even makes you do that.
No one.
That's a symptom of psychoneurosis. I don't want to keep reading its definition, but I'm gonna keep reading the definition of psychoneurosis. It's a condition because of your encounter with foreigners. It says that's the definition. It said because of your encounter with foreigners, you begin to think and act like them.
Yep.
You begin to
take on
their xenophilias and their ideologies, and you're against your own culture ideologies, and you just go with it because
you take on their privileges. You have a birthright, but you take on their privilege.
Come on,
it's granted to them. We already have it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Don't do the bomb. Look, don't do the bomb. Please don't.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna do the bomb. I'm gonna do the bomb when you least expect it. Oh God. I'm gonna say the bomb until the bomb is deserved. This is just refresher for them right now. We just
fair enough.
Just refreshing their memory right now. All right, so that's mulatto. Now let's go here. Fuck it. Mulattoes of Spain. And I want you guys to take. I'm gonna go to these images in a second. I'm gonna go to the images now. Let's take a look at the pictures of mulattoes of Spain. You're gonna see a lot of, and there's actually a hierarchy chart that they show about Mexico. I'll show you in a second, but let's take a look at these mulattoes of Spain. They both look like Lionel Richie. Lionel Richie, Smokey Robinson, DeBarge, Albie Sure. You remember in the 80s, light-skinned brothers had it going on. Within the black, no, you remember, even within our own community, that was a big thing. All the sisters wanted the light-skinned brothers. In the 80s, they wasn't studying people like myself or Denzel or Wesley Snipes or nah, brother. I'm gonna show you the sick pathology behind this shit. Like
it's still happening though. Like
what? Yes,
I know it's crazy. Yeah,
you get girls all the time saying, "I want my baby to have good hair. I'm gonna find me a light skinned dude or white." Like it's crazy. So these are the mulattoes of the Spanish colonies. Look, brother, proud as hair right here, ain't he? He got him one. This is the Spanish colonies in the Americas, particularly South and Central America. The Casta system, that's what it's called. Look at the sister right here. And then we're going to read about the mulattoes in the Spanish colony. Look at this brother right here. Swarthy, tawny, brunette. They got them head wraps on. Look right here. Now, this is a picture from the 18th century of Louisiana. These were called free people of color or free Negroes. They were never slaves, ever, never. They don't know what's that. What's that? You know, y'all was picking cotton. We own people who pick cotton. We didn't pick cotton. And this is a big thing that Candace Owens was going in on Kamala Harris family as part of the same situation. Obama family. They're not going to put a 100% pure-blooded supposed Negro in office. It's going to be of this mixed ancestry bloodline. And this is just a common picture of mulattoes in Mexico, South America. But let's read about these mulattoes in the Spanish colony real quick. And this ties directly into what we're going to talk about with the Moorish descents also. In the Spanish colonies, mulattoes were people of mixed African and European ancestry. What? In the Spanish colonies? Y'all listen, right? Follow what I'm about to tell y'all and write this shit down. Mulattoes were people of mixed African and European ancestry.
Mixed African.
Let's dodge the hijack when they say European. They're not talking about Caucasoids.
Think of
They're
Italy
talking about
and like the Malta area. Think of that, like where Morocco is and Algeria, all that, like very close in nations.
Watch this shit. Hold on. European ancestors. Let me show you some European ancestors right here. This is Queen Queen Catherine. European queen. Let's pay attention now. Y'all see this, right? Her descendants are of European ancestry. Of European ancestry, right here. Now watch this. This picture right here is probably the best picture right here. When they're talking about of European ancestry, let's read about Queen Catherine. Catherine, by several accounts, was not beauty. Was no beauty. Sorry, there was no beauty. Though part of that maybe have been due to English fashion at the time. Most of Charles' mistresses were tall, shapely, and pale. Catherine was small, swarthy, and doll-like. European. So when they talk about mixed African and European ancestry, I'm going to show you more Europeans also. Don't think Caucasian when we say Europe, especially in this time period. Like, try not to think that. I know it's hard. The social status, mulattoes were socially distinct from their parents and had a unique status between white Europeans and enslaved Africans. These enslaved Africans were Moors. Just because Moors went into Spain didn't stop them being. They were North African Berbers who went into Spain. They're still African. So these Africans they're talking about mixing with these European, these white Europeans, they're very clear about that. There were black Europeans also. So these white Europeans mixing with these enslaved Africans, this impacted their social mobility and rights. That's important right here. So social statuses became more important than nationality and your rights, your heritage. It became way more important. Like how they saw you socially was way more important than your descent nature. Because truthfully, mulattoes had a split descent nature. They could, just like now with most mixed people, they got the white side and the black side. Like, who do you resonate with the most? Who raised you? Your white mama raised you? It's gonna be different. Your black father raised you, it'll be different. So the mulattoes create their own society. And these mulattoes continue to flourish too. They continue to do well. They own slaves in Louisiana. In fact, they say there were more mulatto slave owners than white slave owners in Louisiana. Way more on the planet. They own more plantations, own more land too. This privilege notion of these mulattoes could be seen in places like Howard University. AKAs did the paper sack test. If you was dark in the paper sack, you couldn't get in. If you was too swarthy, you couldn't get in their organization. We see this mostly in supposed black history. People like W.E.B. Du Bois, Prince Hall, Crispus Attucks, they're always shown in a certain light. But people like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, oh Lord, these niggas are rough. Okay, I made that up. Cultural expression. Mulattoes contribute to new cultural expression that blends African tradition with European influence. The term mulatto is the Spanish connotation of the word and still is widely used in Latin America. Other terms used to describe mixed people of ancestry include Mexican, a general label for people of mixed indigenous and European heritage are called Mezzo. Para, literally brown person. This term was often used to refer to people of African and European ancestry. Zambo, used to refer to a person of mixed African indigenous descent. Casta, now this system was crazy. This system for identifying the person's genetic heritage of an individual. Should probably show a picture too. Offsprings of Spaniards. When they say Spaniards, they're talking about people like Cortez and De Soto and Ponce de Leon and so on and so forth. And Africans. So those Spaniards and Africans were creating another race of individuals who were mixing and settling them in places like Mexico and Brazil in Argentina, and so on and so forth. The Portuguese got on this as well. Offspring of Spaniards and African women resulted early on in mixed race children turned mulatto. In Spanish law, you said law earlier. In Spanish law, the status of the child followed that of the mother. That's called seclorum, something seclorum. I'll think of it in a second. So, so that despite having Spanish parents, their offspring were enslaved. Yeah, they followed the conditions of their mothers.
Yep.
So we have a broad understanding of what that is. Let's go here and find out what these people right here are.
Someone asked us, okay, I do have YouTube, but it's not under Uncharted Truth. My YouTube is this, then that. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't have Uncharted Truth anymore. So just my podcast is on YouTube. This, then that. It's a little yellow logo. You'll see that.
This, then that?
Yeah, THEN. This, then that. Yeah.
This, then that.
Yeah. Am I saying it funny?
I just want to be clear. Sometimes people like, it's DISDAT. Like, come on, man. Just spell it the right way. You never know.
Criollo,
a person from Spanish South or Central America, especially of pure Spanish descent. A coco, it's about a tree right there. In Spanish colony at the time, a Criollo referred to a full-blooded Spaniard born in Spanish colonies in Asia and America. It was a term mostly used to differentiate from peninsulars, a full-blooded Spaniard born in Spain, and a mestizo. Am I saying that right? How you say this?
You're close. I don't know. Mestizos, I guess.
Persons of both Spanish and Native American and Asian ancestry. The American Spaniards, also known as, I think this is why they ask you that question: are you like Latin or non-Latin? Like, why is that separate from everything else? It's weird. On the application, the American Spaniards, also known as Criollos or Creoles. You thought this was black and French people, didn't you? You was told the whole time, is this the Creole people from New Orleans were the French and the black people? No, they wasn't. Y'all cut that shit out, man. Were completely Hispanicized people born in the New World. That's the Americas. They were regarded as white, and a few of them, no doubt were, but most were descendants of these people right here, mestizos, who had been recognized by their Spanish father and brought up as Spaniards. Let's take a look and see what we can see real quick, what they look like. Los Criollos. I saw this TikTok. This dude was like, "What such thing as no damn Mexican? Mexicans were made up." And he was a Mexican. Like, he was telling the truth too. Like, it's for real. Like, Mexicans are made up.
Right.
No such thing as a Mexican. It's crazy. All right. So we covered those words. Let's go dig into these queens right quick so we can get it back. Time is ticking. Let's start with Queen Catherine. Queen Catherine produced no heirs for Charles. This is Charles II, by the way. This is Charles II. Let's take a look at Charles II real quick. So Catherine was definitely black. Charles was definitely black too. Yes, Charles II. His mother was definitely black too. So Queen Catherine, swarthy black. Her husband, Charles II, swarthy black. Charles' mother, swarthy black.
I'm going to interject really quick.
Please.
So, we'll go 1700s, how the United States looked. You saw the Spanish and the French like owning land here. The same thing was taking place in Europe, right? You had the Ottoman Empire. They also had part of the most northern part of Africa. All right. So they're also going through the same thing America or the United States was going through. They're collecting land, if you will, or colonizing. But if you go, maybe next time, but there's a map I'm looking at right now, and I'm at 17 AD, and it's showing Morocco, which is in Africa, being part of Europe. It's also showing the very...
What map is this though?
It's Europe in the year of 1700.
This you put in?
Type in EUR and then Atlas. LAS. And then there it is. No. Well, you can yeah, go ahead. Okay, there's a picture there. Yeah, you can use that. I'm sorry. Got ahead of myself. The second one right there. Right there. Yeah. I don't know what year this is showing, but is there not a link for you to
this
on? Yeah, EuroAtlas.net. So if you go to like the 1700s, 1600s, you'll see how the land is. I don't know what year that was, but anyway.
I got you.
Just wanted to bring that up because when we keep reading mixed African or mixed or European, whatever, to make a mulatto, there were parts of, see where, even if you go further down past all that at the very bottom, yeah, that all the very top of that Africa part, you see right there, the Malta Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, that's Malta. They used to call it Malta back in the day. But that white part, the green part, Egypt, all that used to belong to the Ottoman Empire. If you go to right there, 1700, 1600, whatever, go to 1600, 1700, whatever, you'll see how the land was, this is all Europe. That's the European main map. So the Morocco we know today is Africa. So they were doing the same thing. Yeah.
Well, let's keep it. There we go. This is what we need right here. This is what we got to see right here. Because it was called Al-Andalus. It wasn't called Spain at that time. But this is a nice site though.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the way to the 1100s. And we know the. Yeah. This is 1700s. I think around the 1500s, it's gonna change from. This is when the Moors got put out right here. So this is 1400s, 1482, 92. Moors get put out.
Yeah.
1500s.
1500, yeah.
And I want to make something very clear. Why the Moors were being dispelled from Portugal or Spain, rather, up here in Europe, they kept on being black. Okay, like the King James, Charles. Because when you say black,
I'm sorry, it's just comical to me.
No, I think that's important because
I get it. People
think that black people were put out of Europe. Like even us saying Europe, people not understanding. We're not talking about down here. This is not Europe yet. This is Europe. England, Scotland, Ireland, Britain. This is Europe. This is France. Now it is considered to be Europe today. Yeah, this is all Europe. The UE. But this is commonly this little piece of land. Let me see if I can back it up a little bit and show y'all something. This little piece of land right here is connected to Asia. This is all Asia. This is called Eurasia. We say Europe for short. That's the short term of it. But the actual name is called Europe. It's a peninsula. It sticks out from a large body of land and surrounded by water. That's a peninsula. This is the Eurasian Peninsula. Over here, this is Europe. So we say from Europe, our mind goes to the whole plate probably. When in fact, this was just Europe right here. That's why I say King James was the sixth king of Scotland and the first king of England. England is right here, y'all, not over here. So people don't know that. Like this, I'm not being funny. Some people think this is England.
Sorry, yeah, maybe that's a first.
But this is England right here, this little island by itself, off to the British islands. Right?
Islands, they're islands.
Yeah, these are islands, man. These are not even. Come on, y'all. All right.
I think, or at least this is just how my mind is. I need to see where these people were, what was what's in this time frame, so I can put in my head that they were actually here and here. So I thought that atlas may help understand
that
that
makes
in the
sense.
1700s, it didn't look how it looked today. Of course, they were going through the same stuff we were going through.
That makes all the fucking sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. And that's not even including when Rome was trying to conquer and occupy much of that territory.
Right.
And we're not talking about the part we call Germany, where the Visigoths and the Ostrogoths. We're not even getting into all that yet. Like and those were actually not the Visigoths, but there was black Germanic tribes coming from the area. So that whole, what do they call the Hassenbergs? I think they call Hassenbergs.
I'm familiar. I'm sorry.
The Hassenbergs, and let me show y'all. I'm just talking. We'll go back to Queen Anna in a second. It's your fault.
I'm sorry. I told you I should have been in the audience tonight. I should have been in the chat.
No, you be doing the same thing, but you bringing up good ass points. Is my point. Like, it's nothing bad. It's like, oh shit, yeah, it does make fucking sense.
Let me stay on track.
No, that makes sense. So you had the, how do you go right here? The group called the Anguses. Yes, the Angus, the Anguses, black people who were present in Europe during the medieval period and were part of many aspects of society. In fact, the genetic study suggests that almost all Southern Europeans have inherited 1 to 3% African, because y'all don't remember they told y'all that these Africans migrated to Europe and then their skin turned white and they lived in caves and but before that happened, I don't know if you believe it or not, but the point is they were there. Yeah. And they go on to give you many distinguished people of European ancestry of significance who were there. Sir Murrian, Black Knight of the Round Table. That's Sir Locksley and all those individuals, if you believe in that stuff. But the Knights of the Round Table end up becoming the Hospitallers and the Poor Fellows of Christ, so on and so forth. Black skin, Moorish shield and armor. You have to look up what that looked like. When you start to see these Europeans with all these the little lids and the knights, and that's Moorish armor. And only his teeth remain white. Good God Almighty. You had black musicians. A Portuguese painting from around 1520 depicts black musicians. Liverpool, which is a prominent neighborhood in Europe right now. The black community in Liverpool is the oldest. That means it's the original. The definition we read earlier about any of the original origin people of Europe were called white. The black community in Liverpool is the oldest. That makes it the original. With black settlers, including sailors, free people, and sons of African rulers. That means princesses. Black people were present in many parts of Europe, including Portugal, Spain, Austria. The Netherlands is another big place too. France, Germany is a big place. Italy and England. They worked in many different roles, including generals, knights, saints, cardinals, nobility, conquistadors. Wow. That is a crazy one right there. We talked about the black conquistadors already. Mercenaries, which are like
interesting. Wow.
Hired hitmen. Musician, cooks, so the chefs, housekeepers, dock workers, also known as stevedores, slaves, and assistants. So, I don't know how you apply to be a slave and you get kicked. I don't know how that worked back then, but
maybe they didn't have the term employee. I don't know.
I mean, come on, like it just so
it's a random employee. That's a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
Oh God. Skoglund investigation, the pigmentation of ancient Europeans, including the skeletal remains of this specimen right here and the Iceman. The analysts by Skoglund, ET, whatever the fuck that
sounds
is.
Good. Yep.
Determined that the
means more than one.
pigmentation phenotype of Europeans were dark skinned. The original. Now, going back to what we read about ethnicity and race on that website, when it tells you that any of the original European, and we're showing y'all the original European people, they're white,
White.
which is a status,
Yep.
which later through sociology, those statuses became voluntary. If you don't know what status that's just a status. It's not your inheritable bloodline.
Right.
It's not your people. None of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Period.
So if the bottom or the ghetto started putting white on the census, they might get some funding. That might be a horrible joke, but it might be.
No, that's true. That's actually true. All right. Besides the Angus, there were the Douglases.
Mhm.
The Douglases were also black swarthy people.
I haven't looked at some more of the names of my lineage because I don't remember the names, but we trace back to a lot of Europe actually. Actually, none of my ancestry. I mean, now this is the matriarch side. None came from Africa. None of them. No one.
Yeah.
From as far back as what I can see or read, rather.
Right.
I'm sure they came from, but everything was traced to Europe, which is very interesting.
Queen Anna. It's hilarious how Netflix are making these movies about these black royalty. You know they got with Queen Charlotte. It's one more too. Netflix got. So if you haven't seen this series, go check it out. Queen Anna Boleyn. Let's read about Queen Anna Boleyn real quick. After considering all the evidence, all of it, about Anna's appearance, historians Eric Ivins, go look him up, concluded that all report agrees Anna was dark. So this Queen Anna, right there, Queen Anna real quick. Thomas Watt referred to her as brunette. Brunette means dark, by the way, which Oxford English Dictionary defines as a person having dark complexion, not just brunette hair. Let's cut that out. Several people in the Tudor court. Let's read on. This is getting interesting now. This is a clip from the Barnard College. Let's blow it up a little bit so we can read it. The source is Barnard College, online barnardcollege.edu. This is a college institution. I
It's like a case study of some sort.
Pretty credible.
Some references there.
Talks about Anna, her skin, not so whitely. Skin and dark features are part of the systems or of race making in the 16th century. After considering all the evidence, I just read that part. But it says that brunette, which is a term in the Oxford English Dictionary, defines a person of having dark complexion. Several people in the Tudor court are commented to her on her magnificent dark hair and eyes, which were black and beautiful, even though the emphasis on Anne's hair and eye color might not necessarily align with the modern emphasis on her skin color as a determinative of racial identity, as Kim F. Hall demonstrate in her journal book, The Things of Darkness, the overlap of tropes of dark and light with categories of undesirable and desirable English and foreign help to reinforce the emerging racialized standard of beauty in early modern period. It's the same thing with King Charles too. Talked about his black hair and all that stuff first, but he was also swarthy. This is Queen Anna. I want you guys to write down who she is. Here's another picture of her if you want to check her out. This is the series too. You can watch the series if you so choose to. They know. So from Queen Anna, we're going to go right over to Queen Elizabeth I. So right there, Queen Elizabeth I. This is our next sister. And then we got two more sisters. Okay, sister. Let me be clear. These sisters were a bunch of Kamalas. They were not how you think. They were Kamalas. You imagine a bunch of Kamalas over there? It's crazy. So this is Queen Elizabeth I. Let's read about her. Let's read the first one first. The Renaissance ideal of beauty was fair hair, right? The complexity, bright eyes, red lips, tall, striking, with pale skin and light red gold hair. That's what they
like
say
Ice Spice. What's her name? Was that Spice Girl name? Ice Spice. What is it? Ice. What is
Ice
the rapper?
Spice. Ice Spice. Absolutely right. You're 100% right.
That's what I thought about.
Ice Spice is, yeah. Fucking good one. No, that was spot on. I couldn't have said it better. Let's see here. And I always wonder why they keep painting these super light pictures of them, and when they say that she was swarthy, like why they make him look like this right here? I wonder. Light and bright, like super white and bright.
Does this have a date of when that was painted? I don't know.
True. So right there, Queen Elizabeth, her face, this is from elizabethan.org. Her face calmly rather than handsome, but she is tall, well-formed, with good skin. Though swarthy, she had fine eyes. More information about her being swarthy. So that's Queen Elizabeth the First. Let's move on to our next queen. Queen Philippa. Yes, Queen Philippa of Hainaut had Black Moorish ancestry. And there she is. Crazy, right? Now, at first glance, you probably just be like, some white ladies. Until you realize that white actually mean black, and then black means white. It's crazy. All right, let's go to our next queen. And I'm fast pacing it because I'm coming up on my deadline.
You're actually doing pretty good.
Great, thank you. Queen Charlotte is the next queen. Queen Charlotte. Historian Mario D. Valens, whatever his name is, claimed that Charlotte was descended from Margarita de Castro y Souza. That's a mouthful.
Isuza.
Margarita de Castro y Souza. Let's find out who Margarita de Castro y Souza is. And you got to say it like that. You got to kind of rock your body a little when you say it. It keeps giving us Charlotte. We don't want Charlotte. Okay. It's going to keep giving us this. We're going to find out who she is. It's back to Charlotte, who was the wife of King George III. King George III was directly, I'm sorry, not King George III, but Queen Charlotte was direct descendant of Margarita, a black branch of the Portuguese royal. So not only was Portugal black, Spain was black, England was black, Scotland was black, Germany was black. When I say black, I mean like these were the elite ruling people, royalty. My question was always, where do these black kings and queens authority derive from? You know what I'm saying? Like who did they descend from to become the king's queen? Like we know that Xerxes descended from Darius, King Darius.
Better get
right?
their predecessors. What happened to the predecessors? What's
This
you have to have it down. Like what? I don't know.
Like,
what was cut?
Who was the first king that even gave them the oldest kingdoms in that area is like Egypt. Well, I'm lying because the Nubian Empire is older than the Egyptian Empire. But places like Nubia, the Nubian Empire, the land of Sheba, those territories were like in a monarchy, while most people still run around and like not tribes, but really tribes. They were more in a chiefdom society than a monarch society. And that's what happened in North America. The so-called American Indians were still operating in chieftain societies. The best they had were like confederacies, the Iroquois and so on and so forth. They had their own little confederacies and they all met, but the chiefs from each tribe would send a representative, or they would come as a representative, and they would express the concerns of the tribe at one meeting, or like a congressional meeting type deal back then. And then the Europeans, both black and white, both from Spain and England, they came over under a monarchy system. But the monarchy system had been so usurped and infiltrated to where you had a group of individuals called barons. The barons would pressure the crown a certain kind of way financially. Then you had the church of the popes would flex on the kings in another kind of way. So really the kings of Europe began to lose their authority, and not just authority, but there's like their power as far as it concerns the people, because the church began to take over the power of the crown. So then you start to see the colonies popping up, and it's not such a monarchy in the colonies because the colonies are allowed to operate on their own governmental rules and shit. Just like now, each state can operate how each state has its own constitution. Like Georgia has its own constitution. Alabama has a state constitution. Each state constitution doesn't necessarily supersede the national the nation constitution, which is just a contract. It's just a contractual agreement. All 48 colonies are now in agreement to operate as one nation under God, but they're still indivisible. They're still indivisible. They're still indivisible. Even though they are agreeing to be together, they're still indivisible. They got their own government. So that's the point I'm making is, well, I don't know, because I would guess the Native Americans will also have queens and kings too. So I don't know. It's weird.
You asked a question. Well, I'm not answering it. Sorry, it sounds funny. Regarding Susa and I think you were talking about Charlotte. They are 304 years apart. Margarita de Castro y Souza being way older, of course. So she actually supersedes these people you're talking about right now.
Yes.
So she's longer. So we have to look and see who she came from. So I don't know if you ever want to do that or not, but
no, that's what I was trying to find out.
Okay. So you're not getting anything pop up
with her.
Okay.
It keeps taking me back to here we go right here.
What it says about her is she's of course she's a branch of the Portuguese royal house. Did you already cover that part?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'll shut up. Let me just.
No.
You got it.
No, you're actually
fine. It's like past my bedtime, so I'm like trying to.
Oh my God, what time is it?
Stop it.
Oh yeah, it is 11 o'clock. In your world, it's 11 o'clock. You're right. So yeah, I guess we have to do some research on that whole bloodline going back. Ancestry.com, if y'all listening, go ahead and I'm joking. the Mecklenburg is what connected Charlotte to Germany. The Mecklenburg. All right, so we got Charlotte. I think we is that everybody? Yeah, I think that's everybody. See, I did good.
Oh, you got everyone? You done?
Yeah, that was all the queens. 4 queens. I had a full house. More people. You want to check these people out right here? This is Edward Swarthy. His last name is Swarthy. That's crazy. Was an African man who lived in Tudor England. It was a time period of England that was black. Tudor, anytime you see Tudor or Stuart, King, what's his name? James created the Tudor Stuart. He put it both together. Super black people. Not like, let me stop saying black. Swarthy likely brought to England by Winter after he captained the aid on Francis Drake. Francis Drake was an interesting person too. Francis Drake worked with what's his name? The nigga who Jesus Christ, help me out. Help me out.
I got nothing. I'm still over here looking for the mother of Susan.
I'm over here feeling like Mike Tyson right now. I'm bobbing.
Listen, okay, I just put it in our chat so you can see there's a genealogy of Margarita. If you're interested. But I don't know who you're talking about, dear. I'm sorry.
Oh, you got a link right here. Oh, got it. Y'all can't see it, but
well, you can. You can just pull it up or type it in, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, no. It's right here.
Yeah, it shows her immediate family and everything, which is pretty cool. Daughter of Fernando.
Oh.
Okay, so they put the names of the father, which is Castro, and then the mother's name is Sousa. So she's Margarita de Castro. Day is of. So she's Margarita of Castro. Because remember, they don't have last names. So.
Yeah. Because these
or maiden names. They don't have maiden names. Whatever.
Damn. So that's only.
So she's around 14, 22.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
14, okay. 22. Yeah. Yeah. Half sister, mother, daughter. Wow. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, appreciate you. Thank you so much for pulling that up. All right, family. We're gonna get up out of here, man. I'm hitting my hour 34 mark. I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all learned something tonight, man. Be sure to share this. Hit the like button. Reshare it. Charlotte, man. There she go. Cardi B.
What's wrong with you?
I like Cardi B. You like Cardi B?
That's funny.
You kind of favorite Cardi B.
I still see
it's
Ice
me.
Spice.
It's just me. Ice Spice. Yeah, Ice Spice. She's Ice Spice.
See that.
All right. So appreciate it, y'all.
Yes,
tell them one more
time.
Tell them one more time how to find you on YouTube.
Okay, sure. Well, first, thank you for your time for listening to me blabber tonight because I was all over the place. But I appreciate the chat and you, of course. But you can find me on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. This, then that, just all together. This, then that. It's a podcast with me and my father. You can find us there. Yeah, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. That's all I have.
Check it out.
Yeah,
Tap
yeah.
in with it, y'all. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. It's been a nice ride, man. Be sure to share this. Thanks again. And we out.